And right now, folks, we got a treat. We're going to talk to our man, Teddy Kekstadt. We talk to Teddy every Wednesday, folks. You can check out his outstanding Forex newsletter right under the newsletter tab on the front page of TFNN, the Tiger Forex Report, folks. It's only $97 a month. You get new issues each week. You get a webinar archive in there that Teddy did as well. And don't forget a couple of great webinars under the services tab. Those are only $97 as well, folks. Japanese candlestick pattern, stock and option strategies, and capitalizing on time with calendar stock option spreads. Teddy Kekstadt, good morning.
Good morning, Tommy.
So we got enough going on with headlines in this market, Teddy. All-time highs almost on the indices, and we get some action right now. Boy, the headlines, they just keep coming. Trump is over there in NATO this morning. You got the Middle East. Where's your mind at when you kick off looking at this market, Teddy? Where do you want to kick things off?
Well, the dollar's kind of choppy, so right now I like the head fake rally in crude. I think Monday we set a nice sell signal in place for crude. I think that's probably going to be the high. We definitely were butting up against some strong resistance, which we'd already tested the week before. And I like it. We made a higher move high and a higher move low on a daily basis, all in one day. That's usually indicative of a pretty good, at least short-term stopping point. So I think we set a nice high, and I'd like to see crude kind of, maybe chop around where it's at, plus or minus a couple of dollars there. So the dollar index, I think you just have to key off of yesterday's low. As long as we can hold a trade above that, I think you might see a little bit of an uptick in dollar strength in some of the major pairs. If we take out the low in the dollar index from yesterday, then I would say I would be cautious. Then I think dollar weakness. Am I very bearish? No, but I think you'd see a little more of a grind higher with the other pairs against the dollar, like the euro and the pound.
Yeah, just jumping through the charts, and the dollar, especially that DXY, quite a technical area in terms of just bumping against that area. Hey, did you get a chance to look at gold yesterday? And do you have any day? I know the gold bulls, we talk again all the time. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting in terms of the dollar movement. Not a huge move on the dollar, and we have so much going on right now in terms of what headline is impacting kind of what's going on right now. But did you check out that gold trade yesterday, kind of pulling back? What do you think of the gold market, if I can ask?
You know what? I think it's kind of in the middle of the range. Where obviously it is in the middle of the range it's been in now for the past few months. I think that it's probably going to test support a little bit. I think especially unless there's any real major shift in what happens with Iran, I expect to see maybe a little bit more of a pullback on the lows. I think that the low, maybe let's see, we get down to 32.50, somewhere around that area. I think you'll find good support there. I don't see why you would get below 32.50, but I also don't think that the high that was set last week, that's pretty much, I think, the upper band of where you're going to get to. So I think you're probably going to be looking for a range trade. Remember, we're coming into quarter end as of Monday next week. We're also coming into a holiday market next week. So that's going to probably put, I would say, odds are, is that we're going to have a trade into this Friday. We'll probably see some crazy, market action on Monday. And then after that, we're going to die, as far as trading. So, let's just be real. You have a holiday, you have 4th of July on a Friday. So you have a big weekend where, come on now, everybody's taking off for that weekend. Everyone's by Wednesday, Thursday. Right? So, no one's working remotely.
Right.
In fact, they're remotely working.
Get the barbecue going. Let's go, baby.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. So, you have to be realistic about that. So I wouldn't expect any major moves unless, obviously, there was some incredible flare-up in the Middle East, especially with Iran. And I just don't, anything can happen, obviously. But when I look at the way oil retracted, spiking off of what that is, I think that's, we're having this big volatility, like you said, with the daily news, thing, what's going on across the world. I think we're going to have a quiet period for about a week and a half. The world's never quiet completely, but I don't think it's going to be as noisy. And like I said, unless there's something major that would, geopolitically that could change that, and anything can happen, right? So, but let's look at it that way. I'd be prepared for that more than anything else. And even if there is a trade that starts to set up, I think you have to be mindful of how much of an actual move you're going to get, right?
I would agree.
like I said, even if gold, like for instance, right now, let's say it turns around today and it rallies, where's it going to? 3450, maybe 3,500. I think would be, we spike a new high and then we retract back into the range. So you don't have much of a play. If you're trying to play it long term, I think it's a big mistake. I think if you're going to do any type of small intraday trade, and then you have to be mindful of the environment, it's going to you're going to have volume dry up no matter what over the next week or so. So be careful.
And what's cool is that where the market's actually closed not only for the 4th, which but it's actually closed half a day we get on Thursday. So 1 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. I had to double check that one myself. It makes sense. I guess everyone's out of there. But yeah, we got a half day on Thursday. So that means everyone's taking off half day on Wednesday, Teddy. If we got a half day on Thursday, man, they're out of there Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
The euro. You talk about the dollar. I was taking a look at the euro when we were talking. So is that kind of a similar deal? We got the euro up to 116, kind of when you're talking about the dollar. So that's a critical area. You trade above there, you better watch out. What do you think of the euro trading right now? Because you're bumping up kind of similar, inverse, the dollar, where you get that high from April, the recent high from a couple weeks ago. What do you think? Is that line up with the dollar?
That's a great question, Tommy. Right now, from the Tiger Forex Report, we have the market trading right on our upside target level right now. If we could get a straw, like I said, if the dollar index takes out the low from yesterday and starts to hit support, I think then you'll see the euro push higher. I think 118.85 would be a total spike extreme, but for us to get there, I think it would take to grind higher over the next week or so. I don't see us having any major, like Monday we had a good volume day. You had an outside day. The market showed that the euro US dollar found support, obviously, because now it's butting up against newer move highs, but there's no more gas behind it. It had enough juice just to get us up to that resistance, and we're just not piercing that ceiling. So yeah. I like if yields really get a nice pullback, you get a nice rally in the 10-year and the 30-year. Maybe I just, even for us to get up to 118.85, I just don't see that happening without it taking at least a few sessions, upwards of a week and a half, because of the market environment right now. So there's some numbers that are coming out. It may cause an influence, and then I'd be cautious if the euro US dollar pair gets up to that 118.5, 118.80 area. It's probably going to pull back pretty sharply. So you're going to have to make sure you pick your points and get ready to take your profits really quickly there. Odds are you're not going to see any major trend beyond that. You're pushing the extreme as far as strength with the euro, is what I'm saying right there.
Man, I'm just going through the charts. Quite the price movements when you talk about kicking off the year at about almost parity at 100. I had to double check to make sure. For a second I was like, am I crazy, man? Is that 2024? No. We're talking about 6 months ago at parity. We're at 120 in the euro.
You and I were talking about parity.
Crazy, man. Teddy, thank you so much, man. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you right before the 4th next week, man. Awesome.
Sounds good. Take care.
Take care.